The Wild Palms Group is in the eye of the post-symbolic storm.
Senator wants to be immortal.
A world where we don't have to be afraid to leave our dreams open at night.
I walk into this room, and there it is.
What's done is done. We never meant to kill your mother.
Wake up, Harry. You're having a very important nightmare.
Oliver Stone's Wild Palms begins tomorrow, continues Tuesday at 9 o'clock on BBC2.
Stark conspiracy exists to develop a response to the ecological Armageddon that is about to engulf us all.
Ben Elton's Stark starts December the 8th on BBC2.
The heady conclusion to the Battle for Love takes place on BBC One, but who will win? Scarlet and Black is in just under 5 minutes. There's a chance to see this morning's remembrance ceremony here on BBC Two in 35 minutes. Now on BBC Two, taxing questions and wobbly answers as we join Clive Anderson for notes and queries.
Okay, hello and welcome to Notes and Queries, a programme of all sorts of questions and every sort of answer, and sometimes even a solution. And we start with a deceptively simple question from Elizabeth Hockin of Sutton Coldfield, and she writes, why does jelly wobble? Well, I suppose it wobbles because it's made out of stuff which is wobbly. Is that a fair
Well,
summary?
yes, that's something you've got to say, but it's not very scientific.
No.
What you have to do is you have to look at where jelly comes from.
Right, where it comes from those little rubbery cubes you get from the shops, isn't it?
Well, yes, no, but we have to look at where jelly originally comes from. And in fact, you will find that the important bits of jelly come from these, which are...
Bones.
Bones, correct.
Which aren't particularly wobbly, except in certain circumstances we won't
Well, no,
discuss.
that is true. But what happens, you see, when you boil bones is that there's a protein inside there called gelatin, which dissolves in the hot water, and that's basically dried gelatin, which is what you can buy from the shops.
Right, what's that doing in bones then?
What's it doing? I don't know what it's doing. It's just got there.
It's just in bones, okay.
But when it dissolves, you
We'll take that on
see,
trust.
if you look on a molecular level,
Yes.
these are the molecules inside the gelatin, the dissolved gelatin.
They're like junior bull workers.
That's right. But when
They're
the
springs.
jelly sets,
Yes.
this happens, you see. All the molecules join together in this particular way, like this, and they become supermolecules. And that is why jelly sets, is because they have these tremendously long molecules.
Why do they do that? Any particular reason why they...
No, they just do it,
They
Clive.
just do it.
They just
Okay,
do it.
okay, fair enough.
And I can demonstrate this with my wobbleometer, and here I have the wiggle indicator. Now, inside here is hot jelly.
Yes.
So that's the dissolved gelatin in there, and it's not really doing very much when I wiggle that around.
Nothing
However, here we have the set jelly with the supermolecules, which have formed.
Yeah.
And here, if I wiggle it around, you can see that there is quite a lot of wobble in there.
Right. Well, I see from hot it sets to, when it's cold, it goes sort of reasonably solid, but why does the wobble, go across the jelly? I think that's the point of the question.
All right, then. Well, if you think of a table, which is completely different from a jelly, and if I whack a table, it doesn't wobble, does it?
No, this one.
OK, well, if you imagine that the molecules in a table are a bit like people in a tube train, and they're all packed together tightly, and they don't want to transmit energy from one to the other at all.
They don't look at each other, they just read the paper.
Well, yes. Well, that's what happens with a table. What happens with a jelly if you whack it? These supermolecules transmit the energy. See, it's a bit like a Mexican wave.
Yes.
And it transmits the energy from one side to the other.
I think we get the point on that. Yes,
That's makes the wobble.
That's quite disturbing, in fact. So the molecules there are like sort of drunken passengers
That's right.
doing a Mexican wave. All
Yes.
right. But ultimately what you're coming down to is it wobbles because it's made of wobbly stuff, which is what I said in the first place.
OK.
Yeah. OK, now let's move on. Thank you for that question. Thank you to Elizabeth Hockin for that question. Our next question comes from a Dr. R.A. Brooke in Carnoustie in Angus, and he wants to know if spoilers on cars really do anything to help an ordinary family car's performance. Well, there's only one man who could answer this question. Well, No, I suppose not. I suppose there are hundreds. But there's only one man that the BBC could call on at short notice. The thinking woman's crankshaft, Jeremy Clarkson.
This is a cooker, a device designed specifically to make your food hot. Now, no one, as far as I know, has ever felt the need to equip their cooker with larger casters or lights in the oven or a spoiler. This is a car, another device designed specifically to do a job, and a job it does very well. Manufacturer spends £1 billion developing a new car these days, and yet people think that if they spend an extra 30 quid down at the local discount centre, they can make it even better. So, on go the front fog lamps, the bigger wheels, the discreet side stripes, the absolutely enormous rear speakers, the extra brake light that says it all, and of course, and oddest of all, spoilers. Lots and lots of spoilers. Now, you wouldn't fit a spoiler to your car, would you? It's a very garryish thing to do, and manufacturers know that as well. Take the Volkswagen Corrado. It's a very clean, elegant shape that cleaves the air with as little fuss as possible. Please note, there's no spoiler, but at 38 miles an hour, look what happens. Now, Volkswagen is well known for its no-frills approach to life, so if it's felt the need to fit a spoiler to the back of one of its cars, there must be a reason. And it can't just be cosmetic, because let's face it, when people are looking, it goes all shy. Now, Ford doesn't trouble itself with such niceties. This is the Escort Cosworth. Actually, let's be specific. This is my Escort Cosworth, and it drives around with its flies down all the time. This sodding great spoiler is the biggest automotive V-sign in history. Mess with me, mate, and I'll smash your face in. But apart from sending subliminal messages to people travelling along behind, what does this great slab of plastic actually do? Well, a spoiler, especially one this big, creates drag. That makes the car less aerodynamically efficient, and that, in turn, makes it less economical and slower. If I were to take this spoiler off, the top speed would go up from 140 to 152. But that doesn't matter, because the Escort Cosworth was built specifically to win rallies. And in the world of rallying, top speed and fuel consumption really don't matter. Grip is everything. If the tyres aren't gripping the road properly, you can't go round corners very fast. And if you can't go round corners very fast, you may as well turn up in a wheelbarrow. At speed, the air flies across the roof of the car and hits the spoiler, forcing the back of the car down. And that downforce is huge. At 120 miles an hour, it's like driving along with 154 pounds of ballast balanced on your boot lid. That plane weighs pretty much the same as this car, yet at 60 miles an hour, its wings generate enough lift to hawk a ton of machinery into the sky.